Alright guys, welcome to Manifest Mowing. I'm Jay Morgan. Let's make the vision a reality. Alright, so in today's video, I'm answering a question. It's pretty popular. Guys want to know, should you do weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly lawn care service? Hey guys, my answer for this is going to go back to what I always say. The framework for your business, everything needs to revolve around the idea of how do you like your business set up? What are your goals? What are you trying to achieve? And once you really figure that out, everything else will kind of line up. Because like I've watched other guys online, some companies, some guys you have to take in consideration, guys. They've been in the game 17 years and they weeded out all their customers down to just their weekly customers. But it took 7 to 10 years to get to that point. You got a lot of skin in the game. When you're new, it's going to be hard to come by people, especially to just want weekly service. And really, a lot of it's going to really depend on your region. Like, for example, where I stay, guys, I think about 5% of people get weekly lawn service. So if I were to come in and say I'm only taking on clients that want to do weekly lawn service, yeah, I could get them, but it might take me some time to get up to the point where I have a full schedule. Like, perfect example, like my preference is bi-weekly, but also my bi-weekly customers are not 100% of my clientele list. Because see, guys, it has to go back to what are your expectations in your business? Like, what are your daily goals? What are your weekly goals? What are your monthly goals? When you decide you want to get into lawn care, how much were you expecting to make? I mean, perfect example, I know you guys look at the videos because the numbers show. Like, a lot of guys want to see how much you can make. Understandably so, I was the same way. But you're watching guys' videos, they say, okay, they're making 500, 600, 700 a day. You're going to do the same thing I did. You have to dissect those numbers. How are they getting to those numbers? All right, if you do those numbers. All right, so 10 lawns a day is $500 a day. $500 times 5 is $2,500 a week. $2,500 a week times 4, now you're at $10,000 a month. Okay, when I first started out, my route density wasn't tight because a lot of my customers weren't close to where my location was. So for me to do 10 lawns a day, I would run over the day, or I'd have to start at the crack of dawn and run right up until it was dark outside because my properties weren't close together. But to reach those same goals, it was more realistic for me to do less lawns at a higher price point. Perfect example, like say if my goal is $500 a day, I might not do 10 lawns. If I'm just cutting grass, I might prefer to stick around the $60 to $70 to $75 range and do 7 to 8 lawns a day, which would be realistic for me. Or would you start to add on services? Say I'm killing weeds and fertilization, trimming hedges. You add those on some lawns. Now you're doing $120, $150 a lawn. It only takes 5 lawns to get there. So your goals are going to dictate what you decide to do. So what worked best for me over time, yes, I do mostly bi-weekly service, but you want to keep your schedule full. Guys, you don't want to just say, okay, I'm only going to do bi-weekly service, but you only have enough customers to have 3 lawns a day through a 5-day work week. If you work 5 days, you might decide to work 6 days. You might have stretches sometimes where you do 7 days where you're really trying to get it up because the season's about to end. But you can't fill up your day if you don't have enough clients to do that. So to supplement that, what worked for me is I'll have 75% of my business is my bi-weekly and my weekly business. So I'll do 70% bi-weekly customers. And then I have 5% weekly customers. And these are usually all my real estate investors that have Airbnbs. All right, so now you're at 75%. 75 to 80, I'll say. I'll leave a 20% block open. And in that 20% block, guys, is walk-in. It's all the calls I take where to be customers that say they don't want to be on any kind of rotation. Because I don't make any of my customers sign a contract. That 20 to 25% block is customers you might do a quote for, right? Because a guy asked me this question the other night. It is perfect for this. He said, would you consider doing monthly cuts? My answer to that is I'll go out to the property and I'll show you guys some footage of this. You go out, you look at the property, it might look something like, I'll show you a picture down in the bottom below. It might look something like that. Somebody calls, asks me to do a quote. I'll look at the property. I say, okay, I can do this for you and they don't want to be on any regular schedule. You give them multiple quotes. Be like, okay, and the condition it's in right now, it's a little overgrown. They say, yeah, I'm about 4 or 5 weeks behind. You give them a price. I say, okay, I can do it for you this time, but it's going to be $125. I look at it, walk the property. I realize, I tell them, like, if you were to maintain your property on a bi-weekly basis, I could do it for 65, 70, 75, one of those two. But anytime it's in this state, I can do it for $125. And you just give me a call or a text, and I'll leave it at that, and I'll do the lawn. And guys, this is a good portion of my business, because what happens is, now instead of trying to do 10 lawns a day, 80% of my day is my bi-weekly customers, and that's going to be about 6 to 8 lawns. And then I'll have 1 or 2 that the people just hit me up on a daily basis, but I've got about 100 people I've dealt with to do this, and they'll just send you a random text. A lot of these people, you might only mow their lawn 5 times throughout the season, but every time you mow their lawn is 160, 175, 250, 300, and I'll show some pictures of the lawns like that. And guys, these are some customers I've had for years too, but they don't want to be on a regular rotation, which is fine with me because my schedule is already filled up with my regular rotation. But keeping a block open for this 20 to 25% is not frequent at all, but the price varies because, I mean, as long as I'm working by myself, if we're not talking about an acre, acre and a half, yeah, the lawn might really be overgrown, but it's only a 1/4 acre size lot, so it's not that big of a lot. So even though the grass is tall, I can still knock it out in about twice the size I do a normal lawn, but the price reflects that. So if you can get 150, 170, 175, 200 off the lawn, and then the rest of your lawns are 60, 65, 75, you can fall in line with your goal of whatever your goals are. Like I said, it just depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to do 500 a day, break down the math of how you can get to 500 a day. I get to 500 a day by doing X amount of lawns for $60 or X amount of lawns for $75. What if I do 5 lawns a day every day for $60 to $75, and I always leave in room for a $100 lawn, a couple of $200 lawns. A couple of my bi-weekly customers are $100 lawns. They're a little bit on the larger side, a little over a half an acre. But that keeps my rotation in line for where I want to be. But like I said, guys, I got to that point because I was clear on what my vision was that I want to get out of my business. So there is no right or wrong answer. Should you be bi-weekly? Should you be weekly? I would say leave a little bit of room for whatever you want to incorporate. Because see, guys, the customers that hit me up on an infrequent basis, the thing I love about it is the price varies every single time. It might be, if it's not that bad, I might charge them $85 one time. If I haven't heard from them in 4 weeks, it might be $175, $200. As long as I let them know and they agree on it, then we can move forward. And the beauty of that is some of these customers I've had for years too, and I might only mow their lawn 5 times throughout the whole season. But they fill up a spot in my rotation and they pay, and I don't have to find somebody else. Because in the beginning, guys, your rotation is going to have patches in it. I love my 75% being filled up with my bi-weekly customers because now I'm not doing quotes. I'm not looking at properties. Hey, just, okay, I did it 2 weeks ago. It's time to do it again. But those other customers that pay more help fill up my profit margins in my day. Oh, another quick note is during my busy season, in my area, only 5% of people get weekly cuts. But also do this when you're qualifying people, when you're doing quotes. It'll let you know, you can read the temperature on them. I'll tell people, yes, I can do you on a bi-weekly basis, but during the busy season when the grass is really growing, I might be around every 10 days instead of every 2 weeks because my rotation gets so thick and the grass is growing fast. And what you do is read to see if they're okay with that. If they want to stick it out every 2 weeks to every 2.5 weeks, they might not be considered for my rotation. That might be somebody I'd be like, okay, you just hit me up when you want to cut. But the people I specifically give my slots to, they're flexible to what my needs are. If I say, hey, it might be every 10 days instead of every 14 days, I'm listening to what their answer is. If they say, yes, whatever works, just squeeze me in, that's the kind of customer I want. Guys, everybody's not going to be able to get weekend cuts. A lot of those customers say, hey, I want it every 2 weeks, and I want it every Friday or every Saturday. As you build your clientele list up, everybody's going to want weekend cuts. everybody can't get a cut on the weekend. So I like to put people there that's going to make my life easier, not the other way around. Because you're the one running the business. I'll fit you in when I can. I would love to accommodate the weekend for you if I can. But at this point, if I've been running my business for years, there's certain customers that's been falling on my Friday, Saturday rotation, and I'm not going to take them out to put the new customer in. So guys, just keep that in mind. But I hope that answered as far as bi-weekly or weekly service. Just keep in mind what your intentions are and your ambitions for your business, and it'll structure the framework for all the decisions that you make. You'll know if you want to take a customer on. Like I said, in my area, the percentage of weekly cuts is extremely low. When I look at other guys' channels, that's all they do. I run bi-weekly, but during the busy season, I really like to take customers that'll let me do a 10 to 14 day rotation because the grass here in Georgia just grows so fast in the summertime. So guys, I hope this helped you out. Please like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you on the next one.